I finally have unlocked the Master Tracker license, which gives me access to doing ERT missions on the regular now. That's right. They're called ERT missions and not EHT missions like I've been referring to them. Never trust what you read in a chat in Star Citizen and what you find on Google. But regardless, we're doing multiple weapon tests, weapons that I feel are actually viable and do a really good job of taking out hammerheads. And we are using my Titan. And I like to use my Titan because I do consider it a starter ship. And it's a pretty good ship. And you'll see that in pretty much all my videos that I've been putting out, I've been using the Titan. Alright, well, we're gonna jump right into it now and start off with our first weapon combination. Our first weapon build consists of a size 4 Attrition and 2 size 3 DR model XJ3. Those are distortion repeaters, and then obviously the Attrition is just a laser repeater, and I do love Attritions. And these are great because, one, you need something to drop the shields on a hammerhead. Regardless what you think, just taking ballistic in, I don't think it's gonna cut it. A lot of people just like to use ballistic, but in reality you want to get those shields down to be able to do damage to the ship all the way 100%. Ballistic only cuts through shields so much. So having distortion repeaters, distortion cannons, whatever you want to put on there, just make sure you have some distortion. As you can see in this video, they did a very effective job of taking out a hammerhead. So, Attrition size 4 and 2 XJ3s on the wings will do a very good job of taking out hammerheads. Definitely a combination I'm going to be running with on most of my small ships, just because you don't have to change your loadout from switching between VHRT bounties and ERT bounties. You can keep the same loadout. Usually I have difficulty going to a VHRT when I'm using all scatterguns. I struggle a lot more, but that's just me personally. And that takes us into our next build, which is scatterguns. In this build, we're running a size 4 scattergun called a Salvation, and we have 2 size 3 Attritions on the wings. This was my first step into the scatterguns in this video. The combination works. It's just one that doesn't wow me. You know, it took a while. This wasn't really the best fight that I had using this combination, and it kind of stuck with me. Like you can see, I'm taking a lot of damage. It's taking a little bit of time to drop his shields. It just wasn't working. I'm not sure if it was the attritions, if it was just me being janky with my controls. I can't tell you, but this combo, while it works, I'm steering away from it. But definitely, if you like it, go for it. It gets the job done. You're not going to go wrong with it. You got long range, or sort of long range with the size 3 attritions, so you can take out smaller targets, and then you got distortion for when they're up close. So it does work, and it's definitely great for hammerheads because they're so big. You're not going to miss when you're that close. The attritions are doing their work because you're super close to them as well. As you can see, it gets the job done. But it's not one that I'm really impressed with. And finally, we're at all scatterguns. We're now running a size 4 Salvation on the nose for the distortion, and 2 size 3 Predators, which are ballistic scatterguns, on the wings. And this combo works just as well as the glitched out, broken, dominant scatterguns. You can take out the hammerheads just as quickly. The only downside is, being ballistic, you will run out of ammunition. And currently there is a bug in the game where if you try to restock at a station, you can't. The only way to kind of restock your ships is to blow them up and claim them. And because of that bug, I'm a lot more hesitant to run Ballistic, even though they do an extremely good job out taking out Hammerheads. I still run into the issue when I'm battling smaller ships where I struggle to take them out with scatterguns, even if I'm really close to them, especially Hurricanes. I don't know why I have so much difficulty fighting the Hurricanes with scatterguns. That could just be a me problem. I don't know if anybody else has that same difficulty, but I struggle a lot. So for me, I'm going to be sticking with the XJ3s and Attritions whenever I go to fight Hammerheads in the future, and any other bounty that I'm running. One good other positive about the Ballistics is they fire at the same fire rate as your distortion cannon. So if you're watching the clip here, you're seeing all three fire off at the same speed, and the distortion you can spam extremely fast, and the same goes for Ballistic. So you can just mash on that trigger and never have to worry. So that's another positive. Plus it takes a long time for that distortion to overheat, so you don't have to worry when you're overclocked on everything. And obviously with Ballistics, they do take a lot longer to overheat, even when overclocked. They will, but it takes a long time. You really want to find a weapon loadout that works with your playstyle. For example, if you have a larger ship and you like using cannons so that you don't have to get close to your opponent, throw some distortion cannons, so throw some ballistic cannons on there and give it a go. I have not done that personally. I've been doing all my testing with a Titan, and cannons on a Titan don't work well. I tried it. It was a very bad idea. The gun overheats way too quick. You can only get 3 shots off before you have to wait for a cooldown. Did not work well. And that brings us to the end of this video. For information on ships and components and shields and health, I always go to urkel.games. I think it's pronounced Urkel. I have no clue. I'll have a link in the description. I usually put it there. Check it out. That's where I get most of my information from, pretty much all my information on the ship parts. And it's great because it will tell you where to go to actually buy the parts, what locations, what store names, the prices. If you're on a PC, you can click stats and compare them to other weapons, to other parts, to other components. Really good information. Highly recommend heading there. And that's it for this one. Later.